Okay, continuing on, the next step from our excavation would be that we need to place concrete formwork and then start pouring our slab. We did discuss this a little bit in class, and in fact, I gave you guys the numbers, the square foot of the concrete slab. So you're kind of halfway there. We also looked up the labor and the material. If you remember, we also decided to use an assembly, and that's where we got these. That includes the welded wire mesh and the vapor barrier and the aggregate, and also includes the formwork. So the cool thing is we do not need to account for our concrete formwork here, and our concrete slab, using the textbook prices, just requires you to find the square foot of the actual slab itself. And again, that is going to be a length times a width. So you're looking at the overall width and the overall length. Length times width will give you the square foot. So if you weren't in class and don't have the spreadsheet, you don't have that, you can easily find that. All right. We also, the nice thing about our concrete is we found the labor in that assembly. So we've already found that labor, and again, that was not a cubic yardage, but we found the square foot for that. And lastly, form stripping. Sometimes we have to account for form stripping. In this case, we do not, because that was included in our slab assembly and labor price that we already found. The next piece we actually skipped in class. When we build our garage, we want to make sure that the garage is not sitting right against the grade. One of our code requirements is that the building has to be at least 6 inches above finished grade. So to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to build our walls with concrete block. So it will have a base of concrete block that will go around the perimeter. If we were to take a look at a little framing exercise here, you can see basically what we'll have is we'll have a slab, but we will then have a layer or a row, what we call a course. We'll have a single course of concrete block that works its way all around the base of the building. So this is not a particularly hard thing to find. We're going to again use the textbook, and we're going to go to concrete block wall assemblies. And in this case, we'll be using a 6-inch by 6-inch by 16-inch hollow core concrete block. We do have to add grout to the inside of those cores, and then we're going to add our anchor bolts into those cores when we're done. So the first step is we're going to identify what type of block wall we have. And here we'll be using a 6-inch thick wall, and the unit is asking me to find the square foot of the wall assembly. So this is not particularly hard. What we're basically looking at doing is when we have concrete block, we'll just draw them as regular squares that are going to go on top of our foundation. Those 16-inch blocks will be placed right next to each other. That reasonably straight, which I didn't do. So those blocks are going to work their way all the way down the side of our slab. Draw a little slab over there just to clarify. And then our concrete blocks are set right on the top. So basically what they're asking for, when they're asking for the square feet of concrete block, they are asking for the square foot area of the face of the block. And we will be using the nominal dimensions of the block, not the actual dimensions. So in order to do this, what we need to do is we need to find the perimeter of the slab, work our way everywhere where there's a wall, we will have concrete block. Now, if you look at how I drew that, we don't have, I did say that everywhere we have a wall, we have concrete block. We want to make sure that we're subtracting for the large openings. We wouldn't necessarily subtract for the door, although we don't place block at the door because we need to be able to walk through it. But what we will do is we will subtract the garage door, because that is a large opening. Typically, large openings are considered anything over 6 feet. So your challenge is to find the linear feet of the block under the wall, and then multiply that times the height of the block, which we're going to be using a 6-inch block. So linear feet of the wall times the 6-inch will equal the square foot of block required. And once you calculate that square foot of block, we can go back into our tally sheet and add those pieces in. So we know our material is going to be $2.80 and then $3.20 for labor. So concrete block, we'll put our unit price in at $3.20. Our labor price in, or sorry, flip that, our labor price in at $3.20. And our concrete block price is actually $2.80. Now, the next step that we don't include, we have to grout the core of those blocks solid so that we can insert our anchor bolts. To do that, we have to add for grouting the cores. So we're only going to add for grouting cores. We're not going to add to, and we're going to do every core in this case. And we've got a 6-inch thick wall. So we're going to have a square foot, same units that we had above, but this time we've got a 97-cent material and a 74% labor charge. So in your tally sheet, you'll see an area that says material to grout cores. That is going to be 97 cents. And then we will have the labor to grout cores will be 74 cents. And that takes us through the square feet of block.